Looks like I'm finally here. I just wanted to jump on and make sure that it was actually showing. So, today I kind of want to go over a couple really interesting things and talk about, how hormones can affect us on a deep level. Now, I'm redoing this live because I did it the other day and it was very crackly. So, if you are here with me, make sure to hashtag I'm here. If there's crackling, please tell me. And if you're catching a replay, make sure to hashtag replay. I just want to go in and actually hear myself here on the live just to make sure that it's not doing anything. Okay, there we go. I just heard myself. We're good. All right. That being said, let's kind of get into it. The other day when I did this, I had Shiloh with me, my daughter. She had just woken up from a nap, and you know what? It was showing up imperfectly, and what does that mean? Well, she's not napping again. I think she's in some sort of like sleep regression. But, anyways, that being said, I wanted to go over today and just while she's napping or trying to nap at least, show up and kind of show you that things don't have to be in perfect circumstances in order for you to gain some benefit or be able to do something. Okay. So, today, we are going to be talking about the nitty gritty, how hormone imbalances affect everything from our mindset and energy to relationships and health, and how, we can overcome it in a couple different ways. All right. Big thing here is that you are not crazy, you are not lazy, and you are not broken. You might just be hormonally out of balance. Talking about hormones in general is a very confusing topic for many people because there's so many and there's so many interactions and everything else. In their essence, hormones are our body's chemical messengers. All right. They control our mood, they control our motivation, they control our energy, they control our metabolism, our sleep, our immune function, and even how we relate to other people. But here's the problem: most women are taught to normalize fatigue. We're taught to normalize mood swings. We're taught to normalize painful periods. And we're taught, even worse, that burnout is just a part of life. And by the time the symptoms are noticeable, the imbalances have already been brewing for a very long time. In today's study, I've included, or in today's talk, I've included snippets from various studies as well as little golden nuggets that I'd like you to take with you. Okay. So, starting simply, the year I was born, 1992, Crusos and Gold say hormones act as master regulators of physiology, this stuff, and behavior. And even subtle differences or subtle imbalances can have profound systemic effects. This talk is going to help you understand what's really happening beneath the surface, what science says about hormone disruption, and how to take action even if you feel stuck or overwhelmed. Hence why I started this with a little preamble about my daughter. And the last time I did this talk, well, I had my kid and the sound went to crap. But the good news is that it actually gave me a chance to redo some of this and give you some better information and actually a higher quality talk. So, I kind of want to take today and go into a couple different phases. But the first thing we're going to be talking about is hormones and mindset. This is a really big topic. I've written out the golden nuggets for you to take away if you're going to take screenshots. So that's great. And like I said, I want to know what you want to know. I want to know your questions. I want to be able to help you navigate what you're going through. That's the whole point of these talks, is to demonstrate that you're not in this alone, to give you value and make sure that you know that you are heard. I mean, there are options, because when I went through my hormone imbalance journey, being diagnosed with Hashimoto's at 26, I wish that there was more information than what I had to wade through. So that is why I've made it my mission to do these talks a couple times a week to give you that information. First things first, when it comes to hormones and mindset, when our hormones are out of balance, our mindset is often the very first place that we feel it. Common patterns might include, if we have chronic stress, we're going to have high cortisol, stress hormone. And what this leads to is anxiety, brain fog, and decision fatigue. If you're not familiar with the term decision fatigue, It's when you get tired from having to make so many constant decisions. What are we having for dinner? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? What color shirt are you wearing? What are we eating tomorrow? That is decision fatigue when we get tired from having to do all of that. What it can also lead to is low thyroid hormones, which, if you have a thyroid imbalance, you will already know it can lead to slowed thinking, fatigue, depression, and anxiety. We can also see common patterns with low estrogen or progesterone. And what that means is that it can bring with it mood swings, it can bring panic attacks, it can bring increased emotional reactivity. Like little things will set you off. And, it just affects us all so deeply. And I'm very passionate about this topic. That's why I'm taking a second to really make sure that I'm articulating exactly what I'd like to say. Of course, I have bullet point notes that I've written out so that I don't give you false information. However, it's a very emotional topic for me because most of my clients have some sort of imbalance. I myself live with an imbalance, and it's something that is affecting more women than I would care to identify. And it's also affecting a lot of men. So, this being said, in Jaffe et al. In 2007, they reported that even a mild thyroid dysfunction is linked to depressive symptoms and cognitive slowing. When I was first diagnosed, it took me about 8 months or so, actually almost a year, to get everything back on track. And when I tell you it was one of the slowest and most difficult phases of my life, I mean it. I would be able to sleep constantly and yet not sleep at all when I was supposed to. The brain fog was something horrendous. Something that would take me 20 minutes now would take me close to 2 hours. It's very deep. So if you're going through something like this, it might be worth getting checked out. Okay. Estrogen in itself, especially as women, or, you know, anybody who is biologically female, estrogen impacts serotonin and dopamine. So imbalances can alter our emotional baseline and stress tolerance. So whenever we have, dips in things, we can actually feel upset. So a little action step that you can take for this is to start a 2 to 4 week symptom and mood tracker. Okay. So you're just going to I was going to grab my notebook, but it's back there. But you can grab any notebook. Do I have one here? Here I do. Just grab any good old notebook, okay? Start a 2 to 4 week symptom and mood tracker. You can use an app, you can use a notebook, but what you're going to note is your sleep quality, your mood patterns, your energy dips, and if you have any spikes of anxiety or irritability. And this can help connect the dots between hormonal shifts and mental health changes. A little golden nugget for you to take away. If you take nothing else, take away the golden nuggets, okay? Your mindset is not broken. It's responding to biochemical signals, aka hormones. They are the thing that regulates the root and not just the reaction, okay? Have some compassion for you. The second thing that I want to discuss is how hormones affect your energy, okay? Hormones affect energy in a lot of different ways. And typically, if we're waking up exhausted, relying on copious amounts of caffeine, and we crash by mid afternoon, it's not just poor sleep. There's some hormonal miscommunication. And the top culprits are typically cortisol dysregulation, meaning we have way too much cortisol at the wrong times of the day. And it's typically from stress, poor sleep, and inflammation. A lot of times, people, especially my clients, when they first come to me, are experiencing something like a cortisol reversal, even. So, cortisol is, yes, our stress hormone, but it's also the thing that wakes us up in the morning. So, typically, our stress hormone is highest in the morning to wake us up and lowest in the evening so that melatonin can take over and help us sleep. Those with a cortisol reversal have it opposite. Their melatonin starts raising in the morning, so they feel like death. They just feel so tired, so groggy, and just like they can't wake up for like 2, 3 hours. And yet, when it comes 8, 9 o'clock at night, they are ready to party. They got a second wind, and that is when they get shit done. All right. That's not normal. I used to be like that. It's not normal. So we have to work on fixing it slowly. Other top culprits are going to be insulin resistance, which means you don't tolerate certain carbs very well, or you have a hard time digesting carbs. It can also be thyroid dysfunction. It can also be micronutrient deficiencies. So, a micronutrient would be something like a vitamin or a mineral. So, something like low iron, low B12, low magnesium, or low omega 3s. All right. Feller et al. In 2019 found that women with subclinical hypothyroidism had significantly lower motivation, lower vitality, and lower well being, even when they weren't symptomatic, meaning when they weren't showing symptoms. So, a little action step to help you correct this is to start your day with a high protein breakfast. I want to clarify, if you're not a breakfast person and you need to wait an hour or two after waking up and you have to go to work first thing, well, then have it during your first break. Start your day with a high protein meal number one, if you will. We're going to aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein, ideally within 90 minutes of waking, but sometimes it's a little longer. An example of this could be like eggs with some turkey bacon or chicken sausage with an avocado and berries. And what this will do is it'll help stabilize your blood sugar. It'll help you regulate your cortisol. And because you're having a protein punch, it's going to help prevent energy crashes. So your golden nugget for here is that energy doesn't come from caffeine. It comes from consistent internal communication. Feed your cells what they need to survive. All right. If you're living off of the easy stuff, that's okay sometimes, but we need to balance it. Okay. The third part, so there's only 5 sections. We're halfway through. Okay. Hang with me here. Hormones and relationships. Hormone imbalances don't just affect how you feel, they also affect how you show up in relationships. It's about what's going on the inside. So, some examples could be low progesterone or DHEA could be causing anxiety, insomnia, and reactivity. Low estrogen or testosterone could be equating to a low libido, emotional flatness, meaning you just kind of feel meh, and poor confidence. High cortisol, high stress is a constant fight, flight, or freeze reaction, and it makes connecting to others difficult. Okay, this name I can't pronounce. In psychoneuroendocrinology in 2015, they found that fluctuations in hormone levels significantly alter women's emotional reactivity, social perception, and relationship preferences. So, ladies, you're not overreacting. You're probably just hormonally depleted. Okay? An action step for you to do. We're going to go back to our good old journal here. This thing's going to be your best friend. Do a twice a day nervous system check-in. You can just stop and ask yourself. You don't have to do it. You can set an alarm in your phone to remind you and just ask, am I in survival mode or safe mode? Then do one calming practice. One of my favorite things that I always tell my clients to do is box breathing. Box breathing is a technique that actually helps bring down stress levels very quickly. The best part is it can be done anywhere and no one needs to know that you're doing it. So it's a set of 4 with a 4 count. So what you're going to do is you're going to inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. Ideally, you repeat it 2 to 4 times. So an example. And then you repeat. Okay. You can also do some humming. You can do some vagus nerve tapping. You can put your face in a cold splash. Okay. But the golden nugget that I want you to take away here is that your capacity to connect starts with your ability to calm your own system. Regulate first, relate to others second. Regulate yourself first and relate second. This is very important, especially if you're in a relationship. All of us have relationships. It doesn't have to be romantic. It can be platonic. It can be family, whatever. But this is very important for not being snippy. This is very important for having self-regulation. Okay? Part 4 is talking about our physical health. When it comes to hormones and physical health, Imbalances can cascade into physical dysfunctions as well. Effects can include insulin resistance, which leads to belly fat, fatigue, sugar cravings. And this is part of what ends up happening when we go through menopause as well. Other things like estrogen dominance can create chronic bloating, breast tenderness, and mood swings. Low thyroid can lead to things like weight gain, constipation, dry hair, or dry skin as well, and thinning hair or brittle nails. A cortisol overload, too much chronic stress, can lead to inflammation, joint pain, and immune suppression. You might be getting sick often. Limit All in 2013 in Obesity Reviews said that visceral fat and inflammation are tightly associated with hormone dysregulation in women, particularly those with PCOS and perimenopause. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it affects quite a few women. And perimenopause is when you're in the middle of menopause, okay, or just before you're full blown menopausal, okay. And this is why general advice like just eat less and just move more, it's calories in versus calories out, doesn't work for most people long term. And that especially those when our hormones are out of whack. 99% of my transformations that you see, I tell my girls to eat more and move less, which seems so counterintuitive. And trust me, I get a lot of pushback about it. But then they start to see results and they start to feel calm and in control. Why? Because we're attacking root causes of things. We're giving real change. Okay? Your action step for this is to incorporate just 2 to 3 training sessions per week. Strength training. You're going to focus on full body compound movements. A compound move is something that works your whole body. Squats, deadlifts, rows, presses. 30 to 45 minutes a session, moderate weight, slow tempo, and full range of motion. I also want to point out that strength training in particular is vastly more important than most things, because I'm not going to say more important because yes, cardiovascular health is important. Mobility is important, but in particular, strength training helps increase and improve blood sugar balancing, okay? Estrogen metabolism, and it helps create lean muscle, which supports hormone conversion. It also creates longevity more than any of the other things, okay? So your golden nugget here is that your body doesn't need punishment. It needs precision. Strength is the foundation of hormonal repair. And number 5 is how to actually overcome all of these different things that we've talked about today. And they're difficult. It's not something that just shows up overnight. You don't have to guess or do Google or ChatGPT your way through hormone repair. Let's give you some strategic approaches that you can take. Your step 1 is to test and not guess. So any of this needs to be done with a PCP, primary care provider, aka your physician, your family doctor, or your walk-in clinic, or your naturopath, doesn't matter. You're going to ask for sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and be cycle specific. You're going to ask for a thyroid panel, so TSH, free T3, free T4, or TPO antibodies. Insulin and glucose markers, so your fasting insulin or your A1C. Cortisol can be done through saliva, through pee, or a Dutch test. Golden nugget here, lab work is your map, symptoms are your compass. Use both to find your way back to balance. Step number 2 is to balance blood sugar as much as we can after every meal. Okay, balanced blood sugar equals balanced hormones equals better mood overall and stable mood overall. Use this meal formula: protein, fiber, healthy fat, color. All right, examples: grilled salmon, quinoa, avocado, kale. Steak, potato, avocado, and broccoli. Okay, just some examples. Leedy et al. In 2011 showed that a protein-rich breakfast improves dopamine regulation, reduces cravings, and fatigue throughout the day. And this is true for almost every single meal, okay? Your golden nugget is that every single bite you have is a message to your hormones. Send them love, not chaos. Step 3 is to calm the inflammation. Chronic inflammation blunts hormone production and conversion. Here are some ways to reduce it. Sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. We're going to cut our caffeine back a little bit. Instead of like all freaking day, ideally it's only in the morning, but days like today where I'm dead, I'm going to have another one in the afternoon and it's not the end of the world. We're going to prioritize daily movement over overtraining. So daily movement would be hitting your strength training 2 to 3 times per week and a daily walk. Start increasing your steps. Then you're going to add breath work or prayer or journaling 5 to 10 minutes a day. It does a lot for mental health to shift into a state of gratitude and abundance versus chaos and scarcity mindset. Okay, that's a whole other can of worms that I can do a live on if there's enough interest. The golden nugget there is that healing isn't about doing more. It's about removing what's hurting you. Okay, so you don't need to go crazy at a boot camp class. You don't need to go crazy doing 5, 6, 7 days of training a week or 2-a-days or so much. It's not always about doing more. It's about removing the things that hurt you and bringing calm back into your life. Step 4 is to support your gut health. All right. Your gut regulates estrogen, cortisol, and thyroid function. A dysregulated gut is a disrupted endocrine system. Steps to support the gut hormone axis would be to add fermented foods like sauerkraut, kefir, unsweetened Greek yogurt. Could also be kimchi for all my kimchi lovers. Things like these can be very tasty. Honestly, my favorite thing in the world is scrambled eggs with scrambled eggs with kimchi on top. It's so good. Steps to support it as well would be to eat 25 to 35 grams of fiber a day. Okay, so those who are tracking their macros or modified macros, which would be like calories and protein, your focus is there. And then you just try and kind of keep an eye on your fiber. That would be a main source there. You can also consider probiotic or prebiotic rich foods like onions, garlic, asparagus, and oats. And the big takeaway here is that if your gut isn't happy, your hormones won't be either. So here's what we're going to talk about just to finish us all off. A recap. Hormones are our messengers. And if your body is screaming at you through symptoms of fatigue, mood swings, poor sleep, irregular cycles, it's not betraying you. As frustrating and annoying as it is when you see the symptoms, it's your body trying to communicate with you. Trust me, I went from flat abs to like gaining 60 pounds, right? When I got diagnosed with my thyroid. Okay? Your hormones are not your enemy. They're your signal system. When they're speaking, we don't want to silence them. We want to support them. Today, what you've learned overall is that what hormone imbalances actually can do and can affect in terms of your mindset, your energy, and your relationships. What some research supports it as, and most importantly, how to reclaim your energy and clarity through little things of daily action that have deep impact. If you're going to choose just one thing today to start, track your mood, ask for a blood test, a panel just to see where you're at, strength train this week, eat a protein-rich breakfast, and cut your caffeine after 2 p.m., okay? One small shift creates momentum, and momentum heals. Your last golden nugget is that you don't need to fix everything today. You just need to start showing your body that you're listening. If you got some value from today's chat, I would absolutely love to hear from you. If you have questions that you want answered, hit me up, send me a message, comment on this video. I want to answer them for you. I'm here as a resource, and it's really important that we start supporting each other verbally, vocally, out loud, and proud. Have a kick-ass rest of your Friday and enjoy your weekend.